It's not going to be like a lecture about the house. It's intended to be like a talk about the process and about some like former students of the School of Architecture here that some time ago, 5 years ago, we started practicing, and this is the result that you can become in a few years. So, Mesura is the name of our firm, and it's Partners in Architecture because we started 5. And it's the 5 partners we studied here together, so we are kind of like the same product of the School of Salle, which has been like very like challenging in the beginning because the design process, that is something that we are addressing in the second year studio. It's something that is not very clear, and for sure it's not very clear when we're designing 5 big egos, big friends that we fight, and we want to have the right answer to every problem. Okay, so it's called CASA IUV, so it's not CASA 4. It was our first project in CASA, and what we want to show here is a different approach to like inhabiting, and a different or classical approach to like design. Okay. So this was not a house; it's a former house that we were invited to do like a guest house attached. But the guest house had some different conditions that at the end of the day ended being like almost like a new project, because the living, the kind of inhabiting there, it's so different. Okay, this is for the process. One of the things that we try to encourage you to understand in second year studio, and the whole idea of this like school, is that ideas, they don't come like an icon thing, you get inspired and then you can just like shape them and represent them in a good way. It's something that you find. It's an exploration. Okay? And this exploration in the studio, we kind of like say that it's like 3 different stages. One is understanding, testing, and defining. Okay? Understanding, it's kind of like connecting your senses, like listening to things, like smelling in the side, and then connecting this to your mind. So it's kind of like a very easy. Testing strategies is the most like challenging part. You will see this. It's like connection between your mind, your hand, and the paper. Okay? So how do you convey these ideas into something that will end into like a house? Okay? And the last one is the one that you're more used when you see like architectural like plans, are the plans, how you materialize the project. Okay? So to be very quick, the project, it's the site of the project. It's not here. It's beautiful. This is the surroundings, but this is close to Valencia. This is Elche, and this is a little like village called Matola, middle of nowhere. And then you can find there this kind of landscape full of like palms and like exuberant vegetation, and kind of like the not so typical like Mediterranean like environment. So this is the current state. If this was like a class in design studio, this is the model that you do in the beginning of the project. So it's like a single house in the middle of a plot with no clear conditions, no hierarchy in the plot, kind of like a mess of house, but the owners love it. And they wanted, I mean, it doesn't behave the house, it doesn't behave the way they want to inhabit it nowadays, a new change of living. So they wanted to readapt that. So this is the current conditions. This is a house in the middle. If you do urban planning, you do this, and you're going to take the course again next year. Okay? So you are not qualifying any space putting this house just in the middle. All the space surrounding is in the same kind of like atmosphere. Okay? So this is something that we wanted to have.
Oui.
Okay, and this is kind of like a nice picture of the house because you cannot see the house. It's a traditional but not very successful use of traditional construction. But you can see like a basement because there's a lot of humidity in the terrain, and then you can see like wide walls because it's super hot here. Okay? everything here, the only nice spaces to be inhabited in this space is under the trees, okay? Under the shadow, which is kind of the title of this lecture, Shelter Shadow. This is it. Okay? And in this part of understanding, it's going there, like spending an evening, seeing the sunset, like touching the trees, analyzing the textures. This that seems very like poetic and it seems very like academic is going to work. It's going to work in the benefit of your project. Okay? So we've gone from the big scale, like Valencia, Elche, Matola, the house, and the trees with the texture. Okay, this is what we call understanding. This is the current conditions, that's another one. And then the owners always, they don't give you like the problem that they have. They normally commission you with a preconceived solution. They wanted a new addition in the front and a new addition in the back just to make the house longer. You need to be very careful with clients. I mean, our profession is a service to the clients, but they know the problems, they don't know the solutions. Okay, so we were questioning these like a first approach in the commission of the project. Okay, questioning. So we go to second stage, and this is the one that is the topic of second year study. This one, I'm very clear every day that the results are not so much important. You can see this. This is a tracing paper in a roll. This is not for the photo. I mean, this is a nice photo, but we use these. I mean, this is like work that we did, and the roll is probably 25 meters. So you get all the ideas, and you get like a sense of everything together. It's not like different papers that you keep like storing in different drawers, and then they are lost. And everything we test is grown. We don't erase options, because at some point the conditions change, and some strategy that was not valid now is valid again. Okay, so don't lose any of your ideas. They keep storing them because they have a value. So in the beginning and working with the 5 partners, it was kind of like a brainstorming of how do we envision this new space to behave. Not the house, how the space is going to be like functional. So you have in the first one like a patio kind of like a atmosphere in which the buildings are surrounding you and are protecting you to create like a new environment in the middle, shadow, protector, shelter. The other one is creating in between spaces, like in villages, that you can like shadow and you have like different like possibilities to use the space, or to get like a massive space or a clear building under like a roof that is creating some shadow, or the other one at the end, just using like vegetation, nature, to create everything that we need with no need of building too much. Okay, so this was our explorations. Okay, that's it. Finally, we convinced the client that our new kind of like site was going to be this L, which is now in black, because we were putting here, like in the course of projects, every single option that we're doing, we're putting it there and we are comparing them, just to get a sense which one is working better. Okay? Just for you to know, here in this part there is like a tennis court, and more to the left there are like some neighbors in the other plot that are kind of not the best neighbors you want to have, noisy, like whatever. They wanted to have like some boundary between them. So building here something was working for solar conditions, for site activation, and like a wall to the neighbors you don't want to see. Okay? So this is the first attempt of testing. In the studio we like drawing, and the drawings always look like beautiful. So this looks like a finish, kind of like layout, but this is like working process. Okay? We did like this one and 25 different ones. And the idea was how this house is going to be connected, like just look with the link, and it's going to have like a new kind of like autonomy. Okay? That's it. So again, these are renderings that we do in the office, in-house, let's say, for us. To put them on a board, to have all the partners and all the employees, we do something that is called design board, that every project gets been at and everyone can like say an opinion and we can benefit of that. So we do some like renderings, not as final products like the models, just as a test of what if. What if this was the option that we're choosing? Okay, we will end having this kind of like open space to the swimming pool with this canopy and these like beams, like creating like a new space. Okay. Same for the dorms. Okay. So we ended having like a bunch of options. You know when you work too much on something that you lose absolutely objectivity and clear idea where to follow. So at some point you need to do like a step back and say like, okay, this whole exploration has been very useful, but it's corrupted. Okay? So now let's put the project away for 2 days or 3 days or whatever, and let's take it again. And take it again in order to have like bold ideas. And this is probably a statement from the firm, from our studio, that we like projects that can be read really easy. I mean, all the projects, the organic kind of projects, they have another kind of like grammar. Our projects, the ones that we like in the studio, they need to be very like bold. Okay, so there's one idea, and that idea, it's like solving every problem. And here you can see that every model has like different pieces that all of them, okay, you have the bathrooms, you have the guest house, you have the porch, you have everything. So it works. It's solving the brief, but it's not like a bold project, okay? This was the point when we reached the bold idea. And this is a very difficult drawing to understand. This is something that we were rewarding ourselves. This is based on the modular and in the golden ratio and everything that we had studied. And it was our first project and we wanted to apply just like everything, okay? But at the end of the day, it worked. And it shows, if you can like understand first year students, it's going to be like a little bit tricky. There's one part that it's like the plan, and just in the same continuity, there's the elevation as if it was the same drawing, but they should be like this, okay? So the first part is like the bolts, and the other one is the walls that are defining the plan, okay? Just look at something. First of all, proportions. We will talk about proportions. Second one, there's like one roof and some shelter space underneath with one open part, okay? And then in the layout, in the plan, you have like a massive part in white, and then another one which is more sheltered, more protected. Okay, that's the project. So this is the model. This was a model for the client. So this is like a nice one, in which you can see that we did these like 4 modules of bolts, and then it's extremely simple. Once you've explored all the complexity, you clean it. And you get the kind of like clear idea that it's underneath, you filter everything. And then the idea was to create a wall. Here, this part here is the tennis court and the neighbors. So a wall, we don't want to see them, it's just something that we put. And all the house is looking to the sun, to the swimming pool, to the nice orientation, to the other. So in terms of construction, very easy, very easy. A wall and a roof. The roof is like this, but it's a wall and a roof from this side, okay? The other one, you can see like a super huge space, and even that part that has like some like fixings in the openings, that was wooden fixings, and they can open. You have like a huge open space that is going to be the porch. So when the clients ask for like a new extension of the porch, which is here in the house, it's like a very lame space with no good use, we decided to do a guest house that everything was a porch. In order to do that, in terms of construction, we did something that sometimes the client is not going to allow you, but this time he allows us. There is a beam that is 17 meters from the first part to the other end. So in terms of clear idea, it's very easy. The part you don't want to have relation with, you have a wall. The part you want relation is completely open. So open that we had to build like a beam 17 meters that normally you don't do these for houses, you do these for bridges. And that it's 140 meters high, the beam. Okay? All the proportions and the designing of these was really easy. Once we decided to go to this modular idea and this golden ratio, because we have these 4 modules, okay? We wanted the height of this space inside to be very like homey, cozy, I don't know, like comfortable. So we decided 210. Okay? 210 is the height that we want. So the beam is at 210. Everything is related in thirds. Okay? So 140, which is the beam, it's 2/3 of the height, and then the 315, that is the total height when you are in the point of the arch, it's again multiple of 3 of the proportion. Okay? So why these proportion things? Because it's easier for us. Once we are arguing 5 partners, 10 people in the project, whatever, what kind of dimension they should have, there's a clear answer. You don't need to argue. There's a proportion. And it's a proportion that you choose because it works with construction, it works that you can have the proper windows. If you choose like a wrong proportion, then it's going to be like a mess in construction. But this time, everything was easy because the proportion was set. Then defining. And defining means like getting into detail in terms of construction, materiality, and also atmosphere. We were lucky that this part of the territory is so empty, and it was so bankrupt, no one was building there, that we went to a place that they normally sell bricks, industrial, and they ran out. So they have to produce them again. And because they have to produce them again, we said like, can we just like produce a new type with our own measurements? Because we wanted that this proportion were so strict that in all construction, we shouldn't need cut any of these bricks. You know, when they are building, the brick is something that you put as a piece, but when it doesn't fit, you break it and you put whatever, a piece of that. We wanted this to be like so like clear in proportions that even the piece, the brick, it's like a scaled down part of this proportion in order to have like a disposition that no brick was cut. Okay? Okay, so have you gone before? Yes. Drawing. I mean, this is the result. See that the pavement has all the stones thrown. Okay. Everything has been defined. And look at something. What is important here? The walls. So they are super black. Okay? So once you are drawing, it's also that the drawings need to serve a purpose to being built. But it's also explaining to the contractor, to the client, or whoever is looking at the plans, what's important for the architect. So don't mess with the walls. They are important for the architects. Okay? Some other things like the interior, like in the room that has all the bathrooms inside, like cabinets of like furniture. Well, it seems that they are not so important, right? Okay. So at the end, the project, it's extremely simple. We have this wall here and this big opening here. One room that can be like super like open space for chill out, doing whatever. There's like a nice like a sound system, whatever. And then another one that it's facing like an interior patio that you will see, some privacy, and it's also connected to the house. Okay? And then, sorry, in the other part, you see the bolts, that they are like lazily like in gravity in top of the wall. And in the other part, we have the beam. You can see in the elevation that the arch and the beam, they have the exact height. So that when you're looking from here, you only see the beam because it's perfectly embedded inside. Okay? You will see the beam. Okay. So this is something that first and second year probably you won't reach yet, which is like defining specific like conditions and details for the construction. Like this idea of like separating from the ground to have like some insulation. This idea of like water control that from the arch they are getting like collected and then they can escape from another part. And these are the bricks. Every one of these walls has these like complex arrangement of the bricks. So we can have some parts reinforced when we have these voids, we could put like concrete and some like steel bars whenever it was needed for the beam to be reinforced. But look at this. It's just like traditional in terms of like this is just like a stacking like pieces, but the result is quite contemporary. Okay. This is also just to understand that the complexity inside these clear balls is structurally like a little bit like complex, but this is not the case today. And these are the final images in which you can see like two faces of the same kind of like a structure and materiality that behave completely different in terms of inhabited. First of all, this is just a porch, it's not a house. Everything is just like a canopy, a carpet, okay? And under that is shadow. And because we have some neighbors we don't want to see, we put like a curtain, okay? Which is this wall. So this is completely closed. We have this entrance of light in the upper part, but you don't see anyone, okay? And if you pass, this is the patio that remains for the room, which is the one that has like a separated like bathroom, and this really behaves like a guest house. Okay? And this is the open space that can be like completely open with the windows. There is like a huge effort in detail when you do construction to have everything embedded, so this is not, you can just like step there and you don't have anything like higher in the windows. And you can see this idea of like from here, the bolts, it's just like an interior condition. You don't see the bolts in the facade, you just see like the beam. Okay? These are just like some pictures of the atmosphere that we accomplish. It is just like three simple things: the bolt, the walls, and just like a floor. Of course, it would have been like cheaper to put a pillar here. But how much does the pillar change the conditions when you are there and you have like this super nice 12 meters window opening if you have like one or two pillars? This is something for you to decide. This is something for the client to decide if he wants to pay the extra cost of this, because for sure the beam have to be reinforced a lot more because it was like 70 meters. Okay, you can understand that because you have like some points. But at the end, every project has like some strengths, and these strengths is where you're going to put the money. But we didn't put the money in fancy materials. We didn't put the money you will see in any decoration at all. It was just 4 walls, 1 beam, and this carpet. Okay, so this is the interior space that is facing the porch. So everything that needs privacy is behind these kind of like spaces, these boxes that are getting the bathroom, the toilets, everything inside. And I don't know if you can see it, but even the installation is like a cover to like attached to the brick, because the brick, I mean, we made this huge effort not to cut any brick. We're not going to put the installations embedded. So you're just like there. You can see probably that they go from the roof and then they just like go down for the mechanisms that you need. Just that. This is the connection with the house that we're going to see there now. Okay, this is the house is over there, so you can see this wall over here, and I think there's another one. Okay, this one. Again, this is about being like useful. This is about being like on a budget. It doesn't look like it was like a very, very limited budget. But also, there are some points in which the architect needs some intellectual approach. I mean, this is like old versus new. Okay, so old versus new, and there's always a debate about how is the contact here. We have to contact, because legally, if we want this to be like a guest house, it needs to be part of the other house. It cannot be like this attached. So they are connected. But if we put the two windows here, two doors, in the other part, that in terms of like program made more sense, we would see the house with one wall and one wall. What we have now is that we have this wall in the house, and then we have one window, and then here it starts out. So there's kind of like this idea of like it is attached, and there's some like air coming. Okay, so it was like a very short like introduction to two things that I wanted to explain. One of them, the old house that we didn't have time to like enter into detail, that was like this idea of like units, rooms with their own bathroom, enclosed. The traditional idea of like room, the living room, the kitchen, the bathroom, whatever. And this other like kind of like idea of the owners that they wanted just like a space that could behave like anything. Christmas dinner, 25 people. I'm alone, I put like a chess long in the middle, whatever. I'm doing like a party, I have my music, whatever over there, and it's connected to this window. Like a multiple-purpose space that at the end is just like shelter. Okay, this was the new kind of like an inhabitation that they wanted for this space. And second part, I used to think when I was studying that you have to have like a good idea, like a clear idea, and then you work for it. You use Beam, you use SketchUp, you use whatever to accomplish whatever is necessary. Because this belongs to like 10 years ago, when all the architecture that was like famous and was published, it was iconic. So you need like a preconceived idea that you want to do this thing, then you work to accomplish it. We found that it's much better to go the other way around. Get inspired, smell, I mean, just like the smell, I mean, we don't know that you're smelling, but get to explore options, okay? For sure we have like some preconceived ideas in our backpack, but go there, see how the site is reacting, see how the program is reacting, and apply this method of understanding, testing strategies, and then defining them, and then you get like some kind of results that then look like this one. Okay? But it's not that we wanted to end having like a bold like La Brigada, which was on our backpack for sure, or some of these ideas. No, it was like applying a methodology that ended in this result. Okay? Thank you. Any questions for this project or whatever?
It's considering having a beam, like not needing the beam. Would you let both be seen, or would you hide it again?
I don't know. We didn't want the bolts to be seen. That was like one of the things that we had here. Because, I mean, the guest house, it's for sure like very visible, and it's been like a very like outstanding construction. But in no way it was one of the preconceived ideas to compete with the old house. Okay? In terms of form and the shape, when you go there and you enter through the main gate and you see the house, and then you see our guest house, it's kind of like clean, kind of abstract. It has like a line in white and nothing below. Okay? When you have these like preconceived ideas, you need to like have at least two reasons. When you have this reason, which is, I mean, I can have this idea, one of my parents has the other one. No, I think our guest house should be like predominant, and the other one, I mean, this is a debate that is not going to end. Once you have one idea and then a construction methodology that supports this idea, then you have two, then there is no question. So if we would, I mean, if we have changed the construction methodology, maybe we have we would have questioned the bolts itself. Okay, because we could hide the bolts, then the bolts were perfect. Okay, maybe if we didn't have the option of this beam, maybe we would have reconsidered the option of the bolts. Maybe. I mean, there was like 70% of the time of the exploration, it was flat. I mean, the first renderings you saw, it was flat all the time. Anything?
How much time did the whole project take?
Too much. Too much. This is, we were very lucky because this was in the crisis, middle of the crisis. So we were lucky to have like other projects abroad. We were building like many things, but in Spain, this was our project of architecture. We were doing like a lot of retail. The architecture it was our baby, and we could really like explore many options. The client was not in a hurry, and we could discuss with him options. And even in the construction, I mean, this part was lucky. It's beneficial to the project. You have time to work on an idea and get there. The second part is just like an anecdote. We hired a contractor, and then everything was going so slow that at some point we decided to visit, and we realized that all these was being built by one guy only. Because the contractor went bankrupt, he didn't have any employees, it was himself, and he was building the house himself. So it's handmade. So the brick had been designed by us, but the one guy put all of them. And it's so traditional, the construction, but for him, and this is something that we had to fight a lot, he was like, oh, no, this is wrong. I mean, normally, we have ever and ever done this way. Like, they were arguing everything. Like, if the insulation is on top or below, or if the bolts are like this or like that, or I don't know. Whenever you challenge them, they say like, oh, no, this hasn't been made like this. So we convinced him that it was really a traditional construction methodology, not in concrete like us. But still, he was so reluctant of our design that when he was going to the bar to have some beers with in that Matola place, there are like 200 inhabitants. Every time he was saying, okay, I have to leave, I need to attend the NASA building. He said for him this was like the most like high-tech building he's ever seen, and it's extremely like manual. So every time you challenge a little things in the site, they're going to question it. And this was hard. We had to argue with the guy many times. But finally, he's proud, and every time he has like some like family or whatever, he's asking the owner, "Can I go visit the house because I'm going to show them that I built this with my hands?" So now he's very proud. Okay. Are we cool? Hungry? I'm hungry.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.